Welcome back. Now we are going to review the fourth stage of adaptive land management, evaluation. The evaluation stage is where we ask, did we make it? If your answer no, then you should start to adjust why not. If your answer is yes, then you should start to think about whether or not you are satisfied with the results. During the evaluation stage, you will perform three key tasks: preparing your data for analysis, analyzing your results, and comparing your results to your desired scenario. Hopefully, preparing your data for analysis won't take too long if, during your planning stage, you thought about how you would measure your progress. Basically, there are several key ways to compare the data that you collect to see if there are differences between multiple treatments or perhaps at different times, differences between multiple time periods, such as before or after remediation, or even to see if two or more variables are related to each other. We won't go into all the different tests now, but please do not be afraid to ask for help as you try to look for ways to evaluate your data. The key reason for analyzing results is to see if the treatment had a real and measurable effect. Sometimes, small perceived differences could be due to random fluctuations. Scientists use the 95% confidence interval to be sure that the differences they see are likely due to the experimental variable and not due to random chance. To begin evaluation, you will need to compare your initial conceptual model with the results from your implementation project. It will be important to report if the data are consistent with the proposed model and how the model should be adjusted based on the data that was actually collected. Let's go through an example of some data analysis. We'll assume that your goal was to increase habitat quality in a local stream by reducing runoff from nearby farms and neighborhoods. This can be done through a number of methods, from educating local landowners to planting buffer zones of native plants to creating artificial wetlands or rain gardens. After extensive research, your group decides that a good measure of stream habitat quality is the number of chironomid fly larvae in the stream. You set up monitoring stations about a month before your intervention and start counting fly larvae. The stream was sampled for fly larvae 1 month before the restoration, and then again exactly 1 year later. In most of the sites, the number of larvae increased, but in some it decreased. The average number of larvae is higher after the intervention, but is this difference statistically significant? By using what's called a t-test, we can see that there is about a 1.8% chance that the data we collected were done so from two populations that were in fact not different. However, since this is less than 5%, we can safely say that there is a real difference before and after remediation. But wait, do we know that the difference was caused by our intervention? What else could have caused the differences we noted? Pause the lesson and take a few minutes to write down other possible causes for the differences that we saw. There are many possible reasons why we would see differences in one stream over the course of a whole year. There could have been a reduction of predators, a new nutrient could have been introduced, climate change could be occurring, almost anything. So how do we account for all of these things? By using controls. In this case, streams in similar nearby ecosystems. With the appropriate controls, we can determine if the changes happened all over the area or just in our streams of interest. If the same change happened everywhere, then we know that our intervention in one stream was not the cause of the change. However, if the changes we saw only occurred in the stream or streams of interest, then chances are the change is because of our interventions. You will now use what you have learned during the analysis and discussions to modify and optimize your project activities. This is the essence of adaptive management. In order to learn over time and to continue to improve the effectiveness of your project, you must revisit and adjust your project as needed. As you make changes, you should also document the rationale behind them so that others will understand what you learned and why you made these changes. This concludes the fourth module on adaptive management. Next time, we will learn why it is important to share your findings with others.